We're starting with WWE, and on the company's WhatsApp recently, a series of bizarre images connected to the ongoing QR code mystery were shared, which also teased something coming to Twitch. Well, as promised, at 8 p.m. Eastern last night, viewers were treated to a series of enigmatic visuals and messages, as well as the sound of a door opening and hands in fingerless gloves. These hands manipulated a note with the message, "Remember who you are," as well as coordinates, and with a marker, the mystery figures wrote a message about loss and anger. The writer invited the recipient to embrace their true identity, with further notes following that were seemingly tailored to specific WWE superstars. One addressed to Eric Rowan hinted at a reunion, while another targeted Nikki Cross, offering solace and acceptance, and Dexter Lumis and Joe Gacy also received cryptic missives. These messages hinted at a new family, and throughout the video, coordinates pointed to various locations across America in another layer of mystery. As the stream concluded, a final message conveyed anticipation for an imminent meeting, leaving viewers intrigued and speculating about what lies ahead. The stream seemingly ended with an "I will see you soon, I can't wait to meet you" message. Fans thought that would be it, but the biggest tease came in the final few moments. In addition to this message, there were signs of a car driving along a highway, followed by a shot of a wooden hut in a swamp reminiscent of the Bray Wyatt house. Inside was none other than Sister Abigail in Clue View, and while the identity of the star dressing as Abigail was not clear, the fact that she was there is a huge deal. Abigail pointed to her right, and immediately after, there was a door opened and a portion of a man's face was revealed in the end with a mustache and a smile. Fans familiar with Bo Dallas will have recognized the former WWE NXT champion, but we still have to wait for confirmation. But this was the biggest development we've seen in this mystery. With speculation rife about the potential debut of the Bo Dallas-led faction, all eyes are on the upcoming King and Queen of the Ring event, where many expect the group to debut. There'll be plenty of eyes on tomorrow evening's event, and we'll have to see what happens and if this group makes its long-awaited debut in Jeddah. Since September, WWE has made efforts to streamline its employee base, which unfortunately means layoffs, and those redundancies continued this week. PW Insider reports that there were a few layoffs, with some long-standing employees losing their jobs, and that the cuts were believed to have spanned more than one company area. Fightful Select added that Kristen Prouty was named as one of the individuals let go, and she had been with the company since 2000. For nearly 20 of her 24 years with WWE, Prouty had been the Senior VP of Entertainment Relations and had played a key role in securing the Logan Paul deal. Another significant departure is Tavia Hartley, who was hired in 2021 as a talent operations and appearances manager, but as of now, there are no reports of talent cuts. This move follows the company's announcement last month of a series of talent releases, which included names like Zion Quinn, Jinder Mahal, Von Wagner, and Cameron Grimes. As WWE navigates this phase of corporate restructuring, more updates and details about the layoffs are anticipated, but for now, those cut this week will have to find work elsewhere. As we mentioned, Cameron Grimes was one of the names cut from WWE last month, and Grimes himself shared the news in an emotional video to social media. Grimes was very popular in NXT but was barely used on the main roster, and many fans took issue with WWE releasing him as they believed he hadn't been given a chance. In an update from Ringside News, it's reported that Grimes' behavior held him back on the main roster, as his constant complaining about his position did him no favors. Grimes' debut on Smackdown saw him beat Baron Corbin in seconds, setting expectations high, but his last WWE match saw Grimes squashed by Braun Breaker in under a minute. Now Grimes will compete under his pre-WWE name Trevor Lee, and with a 90-day non-compete, perhaps he'll use the time to reflect on the circumstances behind his WWE exit. Over to AEW, as this weekend's Double or Nothing will see Mercedes Mone make her long-awaited in-ring debut for AEW, as she'll take on TBS champion Willow Nightingale. The two have history, as it was during her resurgence match with Willow that Mone suffered a nearly career-ending injury, and now she's on the hunt for revenge. After this week's AEW Dynamite, Mone made a surprise appearance and electrified the crowd with her presence and looked extremely confident ahead of her title match. Whether this confidence leads to a new TBS champion being crowned, time will tell, but Mone looks in 100% condition ahead of her rematch with Willow Nightingale. We've got SummerSlam news now, but not for this year's event, or even next year's event, but rather, we've got some historic news that will affect the biggest party of the summer in 2026. It was confirmed this week that SummerSlam 2026 will take place at the US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis and will take place on both August 1st and August 2nd. This will be the first time that SummerSlam has taken place across 2 nights, and on Twitter, Triple H shared his excitement that the biggest party of the summer is now even bigger. This announcement interestingly comes after Minneapolis made efforts to acquire WrestleMania 41 in 2025, but that show will instead take place in Las Vegas, Nevada. SummerSlam last took place in Minneapolis in 1999, and that show is remembered for then-Governor Jesse the Body Ventura being the guest referee in the WWF title triple threat match. In just a few years' time, SummerSlam will join WrestleMania as a 2-night spectacle, and will WWE's other Big 4 premium live events follow? Time will tell. This weekend, WWE will crown its next King and Queen of the Ring in Jeddah, but those who win both tournaments will get far more than a crown and bragging rights. Appearing in Jeddah yesterday, Triple H revealed that both the King and Queen will receive a title opportunity that will take place this August at SummerSlam. Right now, Gunther is the only confirmed name for the King of the Ring finals, and he'll face either Randy Orton or Tama Tonga, who will face off in a semifinals match on Smackdown. As for Queen of the Ring, Lyra Valkyria is in the finals, and she'll face Bianca Belair or Nia Jax, depending on who advanced in that semifinals match later today. While previous winners of the tournaments have fizzled out, this year's King and Queen will be thrust into high-profile angles. And what do you make of Triple H's announcement? Since late 2023, Kenny Omega has been out of action due to his battle with diverticulitis, and despite some recent appearances, there's no word on when he'll be back in the ring. Fightful Select reports that Omega underwent surgery last week to address his battle with diverticulitis, with the surgery taking place in New York on May 16th. There are no concrete creative plans for Omega within AEW, with expectations for a prolonged period of recovery, and it was this situation that led to him being pulled from AEW World's End. Omega had said earlier this month that he was going in for surgery very soon, which has since happened, and the attack by the Elite has helped write him off TV for the foreseeable future. Kenny Omega is one of AEW's top stars as well as an EVP, and whatever comes next for him, we're wishing him the absolute best on his recovery. In recent days, it was announced that AEW All Out 2024 would be moving, and instead of the weekend before Labor Day, the show will happen on the Saturday after, on September 7th. Speaking on the media call to promote AEW Double or Nothing, Tony Khan was asked about the move and said he was acting off feedback from previous events. Khan said that he'd heard people say that if All Out was slightly later, then AEW would have time to build things up more, an idea that the AEW president believes makes sense. Tony Khan also spoke about finding a replacement for the injured Eddie Kingston in the Anarchy in the Arena match, and said he'd reached out to Darby Allin first to check on his well-being. Allin, who has been dealing with a foot injury and was recently hit by a New York City bus, volunteered to be in the match before Khan had even had the chance to ask. Speaking of Kingston, PW Insider reports that after meeting with surgeons, it was determined that he will not have surgery to repair his ACL and meniscus tears until at least July. Kingston has said that he has been advised to wait for his tibial fracture to heal and to undergo some physical therapy before surgeons can focus on his knee. After he has the surgery, his recovery is expected to take 10 months, which places his return in May 2025 if there's no complication, and Kingston expressed his determination to recover fully. During the media call, Tony Khan was asked about his on-screen presence and emphasized his efforts to limit his role on AEW TV, as he wishes to keep the spotlight on the wrestlers instead. This is in spite of his recent appearances in the Elite storyline, but Khan has opted to make brief appearances, such as lifting the Elite's ban on Darby Allin rather than stealing the spotlight. Khan will ultimately run AEW his way and hopes to build the company from Double or Nothing, but for the time being, his plans for AEW will be without Eddie Kingston. Yesterday, Jim Ross shared some alarming news as he'd taken an unexpected trip to the ER in Norman, Oklahoma after he experienced shortness of breath. This comes just days before Ross was scheduled to appear at AEW Double or Nothing in Las Vegas, where he was set to call the main event, leaving fans and participants alike concerned. In a subsequent update, Ross revealed on Twitter that his 2 daughters had visited him in the hospital, and JR was pleased to have his 2 angels with him. As for Double or Nothing, JR's fate remains unclear, but the wrestling community is rallying together to share messages of support with the commentary legend. Earlier this week, it was revealed that Mark Henry's contract with AEW is due to expire later this month, 3 years after he became All Elite in 2021. On the Double or Nothing media call, Tony Khan was asked about Henry's situation amid reports that he could soon be gone from the company. He said, "I really like Mark. We have to look at that internally as far as the contracted dates, but I think Mark is a great person and I really personally like him. He's a great media personality, as well as being a great wrestler and a great philanthropist, and I have a ton of respect for Mark. I have a lot of respect for him in and out of the ring." Henry has served as a broadcaster for AEW, and should he resign or seek a return to WWE now that Vince McMahon and Kevin Dunn are gone? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We've got some movie news now, as Cody Rhodes has landed an exciting new role, as Deadline reports that the undisputed WWE champion will have a cameo role in the Naked Gun reboot. Details about the role remain under wraps, but this isn't Rhodes' first foray into acting, as he was previously on Warehouse 13 and has a recurring character on the CW's Arrow. In addition to Rhodes, the reboot of the 1988 comedy will include Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson, and we'll have to see what Rhodes does when it's released in July 2025. The last time fans saw MJF in the ring, he was losing the AEW World title to Samoa Joe at World's End and was promptly betrayed by Adam Cole, who was revealed to be the Devil. MJF had acquired a plethora of health issues during his record-breaking title reign, but vowed to continue until his reign was up, and now fans could be seeing him back very soon. According to Fightful Select, multiple sources within AEW anticipate his return sooner rather than later, with many speculating he'll be back by Forbidden Door, if not even earlier. It had been rumored that MJF would be undergoing shoulder surgery, but there's no concrete information at this time, and it certainly doesn't appear to be the case if his return is so near. Ultimately, it remains to be seen when MJF next appears for AEW, but after being betrayed, one has to think that revenge will be on his mind once he returns to the ring. Not too long ago, a wrestler by the name of Blue Pain went viral on social media as he donned a costume similar to an early version of Kane, albeit with one obvious difference. Rather than red, Blue Pain was decked head to toe in blue, and he originally worked as Blue Kane before a name change led many to believe WWE's lawyers had given him a warning. Speaking with Cultaholic Wrestling's Tom Campbell, Blue Pain discussed his career so far, which has seen him work with Matt Cardona, and revealed the reaction from some wrestlers. He said, "Well, there was Ryback. He was one. Ryback said that he would wrestle me for $25,000, and I quote tweeted and said I'd wrestle him for $250. I'm much cheaper. To be fair, Ryback did send me a few kind messages. I've heard indirectly from some friends in WWE that quite a lot of people are like, oh my god, I love Blue Kane. I'm like, people in WWE like Blue Kane, even if people in WWE legal don't. Those in WWE's legal team may not be a fan, but it's clear that Blue Pain is popular with the wrestling community, as shown in his program with indie god Matt Cardona. The two had a storied rivalry that culminated in a solid match at Joey Janela's Spring Break, but with that said, it's unlikely Blue Pain will ever debut in WWE, and he has accepted that fact. Do you feel the Blue Pain character is one of the best in the current independent circuit? Let us know in the comments section below. Since 2008, Natalya has been a staple on WWE TV and has worked across Raw, SmackDown, and WWE NXT, but recently it was reported that her contract was set to expire. The former SmackDown Women's Champion reportedly has mere weeks left on her current deal, and now it's reported that an offer has been made to her. Fightful Select reports that Natalya has been approached by WWE regarding a possible contract extension, though details on the deal are unknown, and as of now, no deal has been signed. Natalya is said to be keeping all options open and has been working on projects outside of WWE, which includes a possible movie about the Hart family. As to what the future holds for Natalya in the ring, that remains to be seen, as after 16 years on WWE's main roster, the Queen of Hearts could be looking for competition elsewhere very soon. And we're ending today with the Viking Raiders, who joined WWE's main roster in 2019, but upon arriving on Raw were given the unfortunate name of the Viking Experience. Fans immediately hated the name, which made the tag team sound like something you'd see at 2 p.m. at Disney World, but how exactly did this name come to exist? On the Insight podcast, Ivar explained that Vince McMahon loves Vikings and wanted the word in their name, but getting a Viking name was difficult, as many terms were already trademarked. Given there is a Vikings football team and a Vikings TV show, WWE struggled, and during a meeting, an unnamed person asked what the tag team's deal is. When it was explained that they are Vikings and they are a Viking Experience, the person said that would be the name, and Ivar added that nobody else thought the name was good at all. Unfortunately for Ivar and Eric, they couldn't back out of the name, as to reject ideas before you even made your debut on the main roster would not have done the team any favors. After fan backlash, WWE changed the name to the Viking Raiders, a much better term for the duo, and Ivar is pleased that the Viking Experience was a very short one.